Sipping from a new mug today. Okay, I tried something new. I went on a whim. I wanted a chai because chai tea is, to me, in my opinion, one of the top tier fall teas, and I needed a little kick of caffeine because I'm planning on doing a couple hours of work after this. However, I found my Tim Hortons caffeine-free pumpkin spice teas that I bought last year, I think it was. So I decided to mix them. I want to turn this into a candle, first of all. Pumpkin spice chai. If you guys have chai tea and pumpkin spice tea, try it. I haven't even taste tested it yet, so maybe give me a chance to get back to you. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another day of Talktober. If you don't know what Talktober is, it officially started yesterday, or at least the video prior to this. You might not be watching this on the day it goes live, but Talktober is a mini series that I'm doing over here on the Coffee Talks channel and on my Coffee Talk podcast, where there will be a mini talk Monday to Friday every week of October. And Tuesday's theme is going to be a card reading. My perspective is I like to use it as just a symbolic tool, something to reflect my intuition, if you will. So whatever cards I pull, they're not predictive of the future. They're more so what I get from reading that card. When I read it, the emotions I feel, the messages that come through, that's me using the cards as a tool to speak with my subconscious, to speak with my inner nature, if you will. So I'm going to host a card reading here every single Tuesday, and you can tune in, and you can also use it as a tool to sit, see what arises for you, do any emotions come up, do any messages come up, and use it as your own subconscious tool to take away whatever you feel like fits. I'm also going to read it intuitively and then also read from the deck, and each week I will share with you guys a different deck of the week. This deck is the Moonology deck. It's an Oracle 44 card deck and guidebook. It was created by Yasmin Bulland with the artwork by Nyx Rowan. This deck is one of my OGs. This is the third Oracle deck that I ever got. I love reading from it really at any time, and the thing I enjoy about it is, one, it helps me learn more about the moon every time I use it, but two, you can use this deck again symbolically anytime. It doesn't really matter where the moon phase is. Like, for instance, this video is going live on October 3rd. You might be watching this a week later and the moon is in a completely different phase or in a completely different constellation, possibly. It doesn't move that quickly, but it could be. And I don't know when it switches over, but realistically, it does matter, again, what you use, what card deck you use, when you're listening, what you're doing, where the moon is at. It's more so the symbolic answer, the metaphoric answer, the intuitive answer that you are getting from the reading. And then, of course, too, you can look at where the moon is at and correlate it to the card that you pull, see if there's any connection or message there as well. But yeah, I'm just going to read intuitively, and then I'll read from the guidebook, and I'll do that each week. I have to say, this is a pretty promising reading. I'll let you know what I did for each section, whether it feels relative or not. Towards the end there, I went to go pick the third card, and two cards were stuck. So I normally keep any cards that jump out of the deck or that find their way into the reading without me meaning to. So the way that I pulled these cards, there's three sections. I normally do threes, just three being one of my favorite numbers, but also in general too, I feel like things always can be divided into threes. Normally it's like past, present, future. Today I did internal, external, and overall, or above all. You can also do things like, mind, body, spirit. You could do really anything. You could do present, near future, later future, or like overall, things like that. There's probably a million other ways you could do this. Me, the other person, the full situation. Normally when I'm doing my own card readings, if a card is flipped upside down, some people use that as a reverse meaning. I like to use it as where that message is directed to. So is it directed to my inner world, my internal self, my consciousness, like what I have control over, me in the situation? And when it's right side up, is it happening on an energetic level, external, or in the collective type of thing? Or in the situation I'm asking about, like, is it the other person? Is it the outside influences, things like that? All of these are flipped inward. So this is a very inward reading for anybody listening today. The first card I did was what's going on intuitively or internally, like what's going on inside right now. And the card that was pulled was Bring Love into the Situation, New Moon in Aquarius, which I'll get into each individual reading, but that especially, I feel like, and the picture itself is a woman taking a big barrel of water and pouring it back into herself. And it's almost like a constant flow. It's a really beautiful card. This to me immediately speaks of bringing love back into yourself. So especially if you've been overpouring from your cup, or if you've been really hard on yourself lately, or if you feel like you are going at things from a very disciplined or strict point of view with yourself, like maybe you have goals right now, or maybe you have habits you're trying to break, whatever it is, if you bring love back into the situation, and this could also be in relation to, you know, how you're feeling about other people or how you're feeling about a certain situation in your life, like whatever's going on internally that feels like it's not jiving, whatever is going on internally that feels like it's blocking you, maybe it's something heavy or bothersome that's like weighing on your mind or weighing on your conscious or weighing on your relationship to yourself, bringing love back into it, bringing grace back into it, pouring back into yourself, being more kind to yourself, being more graceful to yourself. The external card is be bold and make the first move. This card is also beautiful. I love the coloring of it. And this is the Cardinal Moon card. And it's interesting because, again, if I'm going to read this intuitively the way that I do my own readings, this is also flipped right side up. In the external realm, this would immediately tell me that the be bold and make the first move needs to come from you, like the person involved in this reading. So if there's something in the outside world that you are looking at, that you are thinking about, that you are wanting right now, if you can pour back into yourself, pour love back into yourself, refill your cup, then you might have the energy, or maybe you just need the confidence boost or the permission to give yourself right now to go out into the world, go out into the collective, and make the move for the thing that you are wanting, that you are thinking about, that you are trying to cultivate into your life. And then the above all card, or the whole situation, two cards flipped. The first was balance, spirituality, and practicality. This is the full moon in Pisces. And the second card is the energy is gaining momentum, which is the waxing moon. One of my favorites, actually. This is the moon I have a tattoo of. And this is really perfect for an above all, or what's influencing the entire reading or the entire message today, for it being October 3rd, mainly because we just started the month. This is fresh. This is the first card reading Tuesday, first of all. This is only day 2 of Talktober. Whatever you've got going on this month, this is only 3 days into the month. So the month itself is gaining momentum. And to me, like the being bold and making a first move, pouring love back into yourself, and then the full moon in Pisces, this card has the 2 fish swimming towards each other. It's that balance of subconscious and consciousness. It's that balance of inward versus outward. It's that balance of spirituality and practicality, especially as things are building momentum. We all have the power within us to take that bold energy, take that action in the outside world when we give ourselves permission internally first. But we can only do that when we are coming from a balanced place, when we are taking care of ourselves as we're externally making moves in the world. And the only way that you can do that is by pouring love into yourself. And all of these cards were flipped upside down, which means all of this energy, I would read this as internal. So generally this seems like a very exciting reading because it feels like it's coming into a balance, pouring into yourself, stepping out into the world, things gaining momentum. And all of that will happen from that balanced energy, from pouring into yourself in whatever capacity or whatever pops into your mind when I say that. Like, is it giving yourself more self-love? Is it just being kinder to yourself? Is it, treating yourself a little bit? Is it really spending some time on your hobbies or your interests, or that thing that you thought about when I said whatever it is that you want in the external realm, go get it? That's the general reading I'm getting today. So as I promised, I'll read you guys from the actual deck itself. So something I really like about this deck, which I'll do this for each card reading each Tuesday, is I'll give you guys just a breakdown of the deck itself in case you guys are interested in the deck, if anybody wants to look further into it, know the pros and cons kind of thing. So this guidebook gives you a blurb about the card, how you can attune to the moon wherever it is right now by using this energy, Additional meanings, which I love that part of this guidebook, because it's like sometimes when you don't know or you're learning a deck and something doesn't feel right or it didn't really answer your question, the additional meanings can sometimes fill the picture out. And then there's also a teaching for each card that you can read as well. Personally, when I'm reading decks, I do like to use the guidebook here and there, but I also do try to read intuitively and jot my notes down and then go into the guidebook and then again fill in the reading from there, because one, I feel like that's what's really sharpening the tool of my intuition rather than just constantly reading someone else's interpretation. But then also too, to actually learn the deck myself, it's really nice to read the guidebook. So bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about progress and modernity, so this is the time to move forward. The new moon in Aquarius card means no looking back. Change is on its way and it could come quickly. Whether you get the change you want depends on both whether you believe that you can have it and how much you're relying on others to bring it to you, which is again very interesting because all of these cards are internal. This card comes with the suggestion that you may need to do things independently or on your own, but be loving, not too pragmatic. Time may be of the essence when this card comes up. Aquarius energy has an electric feel to it. Certainly there is a sense that you need to let go of the past and move towards your future as soon as possible. To attune to the moon, explore the idea that it's not what you know, but whom you know. And additional meanings for the card could be you need to be more detached from your situation, thinking outside the box will bring you a solution, more pragmatism is called for, improve your karma by doing some charitable work, and the teaching is Aquarius is a sign of intervention, modern advances in technology and humanity. Its energy is a little brittle, it's individual, scientific even, and relatively emotionally detached. Many people think Aquarius is a water sign because the Aquarius symbol is the water bearer, but it's actually an air sign, and it's far more about intellect than the emotional water signs, as is the card. No matter when you draw it, dropping convention works well with this energy. The second card is the cardinal moon, the external energy or external forces at play. Now is the time to be bold, bossy even. Take matters into your own hands. Cardinal signs are powerful and self-starting. They're determined and great at organizing. Drawing this card strongly suggests that you're going to need to be all of those things to get your ideal resolution or position in the situation you're asking about. I'm trying so hard not to stutter right now. This card may challenge you on how strongly you really want something. If you're worrying about a situation, it is a suggestion to be less passive. Instead, take an assertive stance as you steer events where you want them to go. Speak up for what you want. If you are serious about sorting things out, you may need to take the lead in some way to step up as a leader. To attune to the moon, it says, I am taking charge of my destiny. Additional meanings could be bold and follow your heart and your emotions, avoid recklessness or moving too fast, come into your power, the time for action is now, ask Ganesha, the Hindu elephant god, for help, and the teaching says, in astrology, there are 3 quadruplicities, cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Remember, we have all 12 in our chart for different parts of our lives. It is just the way the astrological wheel works. These are the signs that like to get things started and which are natural leaders. No matter when you draw this card, it's a sign that something new is starting and you quite possibly need to take the lead on it. And full moon in Pisces, balance spirituality and practicality. And this is overall or above all with the energy gaining momentum on top of it. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? If so, take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make concerted effort to move towards your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It's time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone's sake. To attune to the moon, meditate every day and see what comes to you. The answers will come. Additional meanings for the card. You are in a super romantic but not super realistic state. Follow your intuition, it won't let you down. At worst, this card can be a herald of the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate, and avoid substance abuse. The teaching. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so the full moon in Pisces symbolically marks endings. When the moon is full in Pisces, or whenever you pull this card, it is time to dive deep into your emotions. Practicality is at odds with the numinous Piscean energies that have no borders, so feel your way now. Psychic ability is heightened when the full moon is in Pisces, and soulmates now connect. It is also time to send out your dreams to the universe and release your fears. And the waxing moon. During the waxing moon cycle, hope springs eternal. This card is a very positive omen, indicating that you can create the reality that you're dreaming of, though it will take some work and you're not quite there yet. This is a time of energies rising up. Emotions are building too. Where do you want to go, and do you believe that you can get there? Either you can just keep meditating and focusing on your desired outcome, or you can make the courageous commitment to take more practical steps towards your goals. Whichever you decide, you are most certainly on the right track. Attuned to the moon, I know I'm headed in the right direction. Additional meanings: the situation is full of potential. Your dream can come true. More effort is required. Are you willing to give it? Review your goals and ensure that you're still committed. Keep moving forwards. And the teaching. The waxing cycle is a period of the lunar cycle from the new moon to the full moon, and during this time, the moon appears to be slightly bigger and rounder every night. This is a very empowered and empowering time, and this is a very promising card. It suggests now is the time to make the plans and to act on them, no matter when you actually pull the card. So given the guidebook now, I feel like the way that I would fill out this reading and as a whole is that it seems to have very balanced energy. Like the cards are really saying you can meditate on your dream and ask what your dream is and like pour into yourself, give love to yourself, go internal, make sure that you're really committed to what you want, and then step out. Like things are gaining momentum, but as things are gaining momentum, make sure you're still pouring back into yourself. Make sure you're still balancing it with a step back to recalibrate, reground, and then keep stepping forward. That's how I would take this. So that is my card reading of the day, my mini Talktober of the day. Let me know, because I know that lots of you guys that hang out in my corner of the internet are very intuitive, are very deep, and like to think about things from really cool perspectives. So whatever reading or whatever message you get from the reading, I would love to hear. If you want to pull your own card every Tuesday and leave whatever you pulled in the comment section, please do. If you're listening today, then feel free to come on over to Kalyn's Coffee Talks and Flows on YouTube, and you can watch the video version of these. And if you are on YouTube, then know that you can also listen to these if you have a drive in the morning or whatever. The audio version of these Talktobers will also be up on my podcast as well. Thank you guys for joining me for my pumpkin spice chai and a Moonology reading. I will chat with all of you guys tomorrow in a regular length coffee talk, but it's still part of the Talktober series. It is still a fall related talk, and it's actually a really fun one. It's a fun interview. So I will chat with all of you guys tomorrow. If you enjoyed any of the astrology aspect of today's card reading, then definitely tune into tomorrow. Talktober Wednesdays are going to be regular length coffee talk episodes. And tomorrow I have a really cool interview with someone that knows a lot about a really cool subject that I think you guys will enjoy. So be sure to tune in with your hot coffee or hot tea in hand, and I will chat with all of you guys then. Bye everyone.